Hi, my name is Ben. I work at Academic Skills, and I'm going to spend a few minutes talking to you about exam preparation. There are three stages of exam preparation: the before stage, the during stage, and the after stage. And preparation really is key in the before stage. It's good for you to know what your exam will involve, what type of exam it will be, the types of questions you'll be asked, how long it will be in terms of length, what it's worth in terms of your overall course grade. You can find out the different rules for doing exams at ANU at the link provided, and you can find out about the specific exams you're doing from your course outlines and your course coordinators. Often they will give you information over the course of semester about what you might expect, and it's good to study accordingly. And it's also good to embed study time over the course of semester as well. So don't just leave exam preparation until the week before or 2 weeks before the exam date. As you can see from this semester planner, the student has put aside time for working on specific assignments throughout semester, and exam preparation is a constant. They're constantly working towards their end of semester exams. In terms of preparing for your end of semester exams or even your mid-semester exams, obviously summarizing and taking notes each week based on the readings you're doing and the lectures you're attending is a really important thing to do. But often we fall into the habit when we're writing notes or highlighting of just highlighting everything or writing down everything as we read or listen to it because it all seems important the first time we encounter it. It's actually a much better idea if you're reading a textbook or a book chapter or journal article or whatever your provided readings are, to actually read a section or a page at a time and then take notes once you get to the end of that section or page. That way you can really identify what's most important and you won't be highlighting or note-taking indiscriminately. And yeah, you obviously think about what note-taking strategies worked for you. Some people like to make bullet points. Some people like to use mind maps and diagrams. Think about what has worked for you in the past, and if you've got note-taking systems that work well, then stick with them. But if there's scope for improvement, then think about what you might do differently this time around. And once you're closer to the exam period, you can start really blocking out windows of time to prepare and revise for your exams. And this is important to do because often you might have several exams in close proximity to each other, so it is really important to be strategic with your time. And you can use a study schedule like the one on the screen to map out all your different weekly commitments and figure out what windows of opportunity you have to study around those. And it is important that you tailor your revision to the type of exam that you're doing, which is why it's important to know if you're doing multiple choice or essay-style exams or practical exams, and so on. So different types of exams will require different types of revision. Good strategies for revising include reviewing all the notes you've taken from semester and consolidating them by creating new notes, revisiting lectures, and that's something you can do just while you're jogging or while you're at the gym or while you're doing the dishes, just constantly soaking in that course information. If there are past exam papers available, it's a really good idea to do those. It's a great way to just practice answering questions under exam conditions and forcing yourself to retrieve that knowledge mentally under exam conditions. And it's a good idea also to form peer study groups so that you can quiz each other and study together, and that's something you can start laying the foundations for over the course of a semester. Now we finally get to the exam itself, and we're going to talk now about what you can do during the exam. First of all, don't do anything you see on the screen right now, but I think that probably goes without saying. No further explanation is needed. But here are some things you can do. First of all, answer every question. Don't leave any question unanswered. Even if you're not sure about the answer, it is still better to attempt it than to leave it blank. Secondly, use all the time allocated. Don't leave 2 hours into a 3-hour exam. Use the remaining time to go back over your answers, because it's quite likely that something you didn't know at the start of exam, you may unlock that piece of information by the end of the exam. Also, if you have essay or written responses, it's good just to edit those for clarity. Also have a plan of attack if you can. So look at how long the exam will be and try and be strategic about how long you devote to each section. And as you can see from the sample exam plan of attack on the screen, it's good to also leave time at the end to review your answers, as I just mentioned. Another way of approaching an exam is to do the free pass method, where you go through the exam once and answer all the questions you know the answer to, then take a second pass where you respond to all the questions you might know the answer to but are just not entirely confident, and then a third pass where you tackle any questions that you're completely unsure of. So that's another way of approaching the exam if you don't want to kind of break it down very systematically time-wise. It's a good idea if you run out of time to make notes for any incomplete answers. Again, showing that you've at least attempted each question, even if it is only in quick note form, is better than just leaving a blank answer. Also really important that you stick to the question, and just to demonstrate that, we have a sample archaeology short answer exam question on the screen, and below it are all the things that you could talk about that are related to the topic. But really you don't need to talk about any of these things because they are not related to the question. They're all tangential to the question. What you really need to answer in order to satisfy this question is why them and who to consult. So all this other stuff about defining and talking about the location and how to go about the activity that the question relates to is really irrelevant. So make sure that your answers are always on point, because even though you might know a lot about the topic, if you don't actually answer the question provided, then you don't get grades for it. So always make sure your answers are tailored specifically to the question. Finally, we get to the end of the exam. So congratulations, you've made it through the exam, but you don't want to celebrate just yet. It's good to take a bit of time to reflect on how you went. And you might reflect at 2 stages. First of all, immediately after the exam, and then later after you've gotten your results, which will color your reflection even further. But just for the time being, once you finish the exam, have a bit of a think about how useful your notes were. Did you use the best revision strategy? Was your exam plan, if you used one, successful? And what were the bad experiences, and what could you do to address those the next time around? And after that, take an opportunity to celebrate, because it is a huge accomplishment to finish an exam and finish the semester in the process. So it's definitely worth celebrating. Thank you for watching this video. If you have further questions about exam preparation or would like to talk a little bit about revision strategies you can implement over the course of semester, please make a time to come see us at Academic Skills. Thank you for listening and have a great day.